Good thing we weren't live for that.
Yeah.
Cue the music.
Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Canesware today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
Traffic, but I love you.
Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos,
Los chicharrones.
Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo.
Mi vecina era CDR en Cuba.
Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chacleteras sin llames con corbata.
Aquí yo vendo hot dog, pero en Cuba yo era médico.
Les saco el dedo y digo Q.
Sweet home Hialeah. Solo 30 minutos de Le Fallo.
Oh,
Sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of East 10th Street Boys, straight out of Hialeah. I'm Bobby Fitztalk, joined always by my brother, Alex Atiachiska. Alex, my brother, we got a lot to talk about. I haven't talked to you since the draft.
We haven't, yes.
We are suffering through what seems to be the final game of the Miami Heat season. But before we get into that, how's your week so far, brother?
Well, we've had better days.
Yeah,
better
true.
days. My week is good, man. A little tired. I am done with volleyball season. We lost in regionals, so I'm officially in the off season. But now we start ramping up basketball tryouts, warm ups. For next year. Obviously, we're still like 4 or 5, 6 months away. But a lot of summer camps started. My son will be finishing travel ball probably like in a month and a half. So we're coming down the stretch run. Kids are almost done with school. A month left. Final exams. My daughter, obviously, she's a junior, so it's a lot of planning around colleges. So it's been a hectic few weeks. Not gonna lie, but all good. And you, man, how are you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. Same here. In the mid part of my son's flag football season, it's been a fun experience.
How's it going?
It's been fun, but not
Okay.
not in the record book. We're winless.
Yes.
But the experience has been great. I have two guys that are helping me. It's kind of like Tati was saying after the game the other day. That's like I actually have I have an offensive and defensive coordinator, two dads. That say, oh, can we help? And they have. And so all I do is say, hey, you know what? Go for a run here, or hey, let's try a trick. And then he'll go and talk to the players, and I'm staying on the side. Or hey, let's rush two guys, let's rush three, pull one back. And I let them do that part, and I'll do the playbook and everything else. So
Yeah.
It's been a fun experience. It's been great with my son. I've been proud of him of the hustle he's had even during the losing. Same thing with all the kids.
Okay.
But it is something where you want to tear your hair out just because I'm sure, like you, I'll be honest, and I love football. You know this,
Mhm.
and I'm not trying to pat my own back, but I think I'm pretty knowledgeable in certain points. Especially the philosophies and the coaching, whatever. However, I've enjoyed coaching basketball way more than I've enjoyed coaching flag football. I'm not saying one is easier than the other.
No, it's just they're different.
It is different, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know. Anyway, Oh God, what was I gonna say? It's been crazy, dude. It's been crazy.
this
What?
this is a valid point, and
Yes. Yeah.
coaching them in the football field is a little bit harder than in the basketball floor. So because I believe, what did you got, 7, right? 7-on-7, or it's more?
In basketball?
No.
No,
In
no.
football, in your flag football, or is it
It's
tackle
6 on
football?
6. 6 on 6.
6-on-6. Okay.
And it's flag. But
Okay.
like just an example. And again,
What's
all
up,
these
Duke?
dude, all these kids have been great. They're getting better each and every day. They are young. They do,
Yeah.
Go to La La Land. We did get screwed over by the referee. Should have had a touchdown. I got very excited because I was so hyped for the boy. His name's Gavin. He always just going to be the running back. I put him at running back, and this kid is a stud. I mean, when it comes to running the ball. What's up, Grandma? Love you. Thank you for watching.
I'm Michelle Hall.
And this kid is really good. I'm very proud of him and his hustle. And I remember he broke free. He was like moving his hips like the Macarena, not allow people to pull that flag, and he ran for a touchdown. And I was running on the sideline with him. I was bolting.
What did they call him back for? Guarding the flag?
No, they said one of our receivers jumped. What do you call this? Not offsides. False start. And I'm kind of like, are you serious? You call that on a 6-year-old? Like,
yeah.
Are you? And I thought I was being irrational. I thought I was being irrational. But then the father, the one who was helping me, said, "That's BS. How do you call that on a 6-year-old?"
Yeah.
And then he showed me a video later that one of the kids jumped. When you call, you can't. The rusher cannot rush the quarterback until you call hike.
Mm-hmm.
This kid was already running, and it went and caused an.
He can't get a head start. He can't get a
head start, and they allowed that. So it's like certain things. It's kind of like here and there, but it's the experience that matters. As you know, it's the memories I'm building with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with these kids, one of the kids I saw today at school, he was on stage performing. I went there to go see my son perform on a little 10-minute concert they did that the kids worked up months on. And so we saw that, and I saw some kid going crazy, waving. And, of course, your eye draws to that. And I realized, holy crap, he's waving at me. And I go, oh, it's one of my players.
That could be a little weird. It's like, why is he going to that big guy? Oh boy, Peter.
Well, thank God the father was there. He's like, hey, coach, but I was like, that's also cool because like the basketball. Me and Tati, this was months ago after basketball season, where we were walking into Goodwill. We like to go to Goodwill every other week or whatever, just to go in there because we found some really cool things in there.
You find great things there, man.
Me and Vivito drove down to Spring Hill, 25 minutes down to Spring Hill. He's been wanting to go because that's where we found some nice bikes. And we found I don't know what's that called, elliptical or something.
The elliptical machine?
Yeah, and yes, we found one. It's like, I think it's like $200 or something, brand new. We got it for $40.
That's not bad, man.
And we've been using it. The family's been using it. It's been great. But oh my goodness. But anyway, we walk into Goodwill, and I had kept hearing, Coach, hey, Coach, and I had Eliana in my arms, and I remember looking and going, and it's one of the little boys screaming from his car with his mom as they're almost going to Kroger, So it's a great experience. Your grandfather used to referee baseball, so when you're not coaching, you may try to referee.
An umpire.
There you go. The referee. I've seen some parents go at the referees. I try not to be rude to the referees. I get along with them.
There's a massive shortage of referees nationwide because of the attacks on them.
Yeah, it's not cool. I don't think that's cool. I think it's okay to question and say, hey, can we, what's going on here? But I always go out of my way to shake their hand, and after the game, I'll shake their hand. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I know there's a shortage because they've been asking, and they've been telling the parents, hey, these guys are volunteers. They're not paid.
Yeah, don't write them. They're going to make mistakes. Hi, Kathleen.
Kathleen, always hello. She was with us.
2, 3, 4,
she
5.
stayed with us, Alex. We were on for the draft.
Yeah.
4.5 hours day 1, 4 hours and 40 some odd minutes day 2, 5 hours and some odd minutes day 3. And Kathleen, all power to her, was with us the entire time. Duke showed up. There was a lot of people that watched. We had live after the show. We had like 800, 900 people that had watched live, and of course, it's been picked up afterwards.
Man, and it sucks that it happened in my busiest weekend, and I couldn't jump on. I know we talked a little bit off air, but I wanted to tell you on air for the people that don't realize I'll pull back the curtain a little bit, the job that you do, man, and the work that you put in behind the scenes to make sure everything is up and running, make sure everybody has the opportunity to have a voice and to be heard. And something that I understand is something that you love and it's fun, but it still takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and a lot of support, like you mentioned, with Tati and your family. And I just want to put out in the forefront, man. You, because of you, a lot of people that didn't really have a voice or didn't get to express their love for something that they have fun doing, because of you, they were able to do it. And the content was amazing. I just saw the imaging. I saw you guys talking now after the draft is over. And it's just an amazing experience to be able to see it from the back, kind of peeling the curtain and see you working throughout the year and then actually being successful and being a complete hit. And the fact that everybody was part of it, that's amazing, man. And it's just a testament to you, bro. It really is.
Appreciate you. Thank you. No, and again, what everybody's done, even small parts here and there. Your support, like I said, Tati. I won't be able to do what I do without her. And in the team in general. I mean, the content they put out, the passion that they have, from Fish Tank to Evan to Court to Josh Wingate, what he was able to do with Michael Vogel on the draft content, Josh Kimmel and Justin Burley with our fantasy football and wrestling, and everybody. I'm not Steve Malloy, Rob, but everyone has done so good and so great that it makes it easier for me, and it makes it a lot of fun. And
Absolutely.
And to our partners too. I mean, Caneswear, you got Miss Finns, who was on with us, you got Will from 305 Sports Now. I know Manny said he didn't have an invite, but he's always invited. But I will, once he's back doing this again, I'll reach out to get him on East 10th Street Boys for sure, to join us. But first off, before we get into any losing teams right now, and I'm not, hating, but it is what it is. The Heat are about to lose this game. 41.5 seconds remaining, and the Heat will be eliminated. The Marlins have won 2 in a row. They won yesterday, and they won today, 4-1 against the Rockies. So they found a team worse than them, which is great.
It's just horrible baseball at times, but it's funny. Horrible baseball at times can lead to amazing baseball because a lot of young guys get shots, and you start evaluating what you have and
for sure.
So it's like you're just playing you're playing carefree, and you're just playing your game that you love. So it should be interesting.
It's a long season. Again, when I look at that record, and it's like I tell these kids that we're winless right now, and after every game I say, hey, you know what? I've seen this improvement. I saw this. I saw that.
Yeah.
I congratulate. I said we know what we got to work on practice, and we're going to try to get one next week. And
it takes time. It time.
It does, and so it's been a fun experience. Alex, I know you know this as a coach, but as a father too. But as a coach, the eyes of the parents are all watching you.
Yes.
And so
your every move.
And it's like, my thing is, okay, well, if you wanted to do it, you should have done it. You didn't coach it, just let me do it. Just stay quiet.
That's one thing that it's funny, because obviously for me now it's different. I always told Jamila, I don't want to coach my son. I want to enjoy him as just a father. And then it happened to be that they needed a volunteer coach. And then I ended up coaching them for like 4 or 5 years. I always developed them independently here. Sure. But at the end of the day, your kids are not – right now you're still good. Tristan will still hear you out. But there comes a certain point, which is hilarious. Like, they'll kind of battle you at times with certain things. And then when a random person tells them the same thing and they look at you and you're like, I haven't been telling you that, right? At all, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Now you get that feeling, but obviously now he's part of a travel team. It's a whole different scenario. And I try my best to keep my composure in games. I try to remove the coach's hat off and just sit there and enjoy it. It's very difficult. I'm not successful all the time with it, I promise you.
Yeah.
I have improved slightly with certain things, but Jamila's helping me, guiding me through just enjoy the game as a dad. So I'm working on it. That's my goal for this year. I told my son that's my goal for this year. I'm not going to tell you anything during games. We'll work after games during the week.
We'll talk after, yeah. Which is okay. And it's I think that's an advantage. Like, look, your coach is your coach during the game and all that. After the game, we'll work together. Like, you let me know what your coach said. I'll give you my point of view, and let's work it out together on the court. Yeah. Kathleen, absolutely. The Florida Panthers have advanced. They're in the second. They're going to the second round. I believe they're either going to face the.
I think it's Boston. Is
Boston?
It Boston?
Did Boston win already?
Bruins. I'm not
Okay,
sure. I'm not sure.
let me
We
take
got
a
to
look.
check that out.
I know they were
Which
playing
which is a
Montreal.
testament. People don't forget this. I used to go to Panthers games when there was 7,000 fans, 8,000 fans. For people that remember the Panthers, even before this was when we still had Roberto Luongo and all that, Oli Jokinen, and it was already after Pavel Bure. But there was no fan support here. A new ownership took over. They invested in their team. They drafted. They let the team develop. They have an amazing GM and Bill Cito, which just got an extension, and they've extended their core. So this team is going to be successful for years to come. And the fans are behind it. It's the hottest ticket in town. It's that arena is always sold out every single Panthers game. And the whole city has backed them up. The whole county has backed them up. And it's a great thing to see because for a while they said hockey wouldn't survive in South Florida. And now it's one of the best fans in all of NHL.
Absolutely. No, and it's great to see the growth and obviously the consistency too. The consistency
Yeah,
that they've shown
absolutely.
the past few seasons. Boston Bruins are up 3-2 against the Maple Leafs right now. They play tomorrow, so we'll know for
Okay.
sure who the Panthers are going to face.
Okay.
The Miami Heat are down 118-83 with 24.2 seconds remaining. We'll get onto that as soon as it's over. A lot to talk about. And it's gonna be, we'll see exactly what happens with the Heat this coming off season.
It's going to be an interesting 3 months, and obviously now the number one thing I look forward to always is Pat Riley's press conference because he's controlled, he's very measured with certain things, but Pat always drops a hint where his mind is at. Sometimes there are smoke screens, but usually he always talks to you direct, and I always love those. Good or bad, I always love those end of the year press conference and the state of the team.
Absolutely. Let me see here. So wanted to make sure I write these down before I forget.
Go ahead.
No, but we could touch on it. It's over now. So we know Jimmy was out. Heat lose one. I don't have my glasses. 118-84 final. First off, we know Jimmy Butler was out. Rozier was out. We had I got him. I found him already. Tati jumped up, started looking for my glasses. So I don't really need to look anymore. It's just anyway. And Hawkins was out this game, but even with those guys, we knew it was going to be a tough stretch. We could kind of see the writing on the wall the way the team was, especially with Rozier being out. It's hard to be full steam ahead. You lose that game against the Philadelphia 76ers. You could have gone against the Knicks, who credit to the Knicks. They're looking really good. Brunson is doing a great job. That series would have been better for Miami, but
matchup wise, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say that Miami would have pulled it out because I don't think that's fair to the Knicks. Ralph's in the house.
What's up, brother? What's up, man? He probably texts me. I don't even have my phone. He probably texted me already.
You're a dick. You don't text. You text like 8 hours later.
I know. And he could attest to it too, man. He'll text me a week, and honestly, and I told him, and it sucks so much. I'll have I'm scrolling through clients, and I'm like, wait a second, when did this message from Ralph came through? And or he sends me another message, and then it clicks on you. So it's like it's happened even with yours, man. And I don't know what it is sometimes. I guess I just scroll fast through it, and then I don't see it again, and it slips my mind, and I feel like shit after. But much love, guys. Much love.
I don't care. That's all right. I know.
Magic,
if anything, I'll call you. I'll see. That's fine. I'll see yours one. Josh, we the Magic are going to the champion. I'll be rooting for the Magic until they're eliminated, if and when. Because they're Orlando, it's Florida. But yeah. Alex, you and I talked about this, and we've been very, there's every offseason, everybody always kind of talks about what the Heat should do and should not do. This is not even about a superstar. This is about a more complete team. I even, first off, I do not want them. This is how I'm going to say it. When it like Hawkes and Jaime, Hawkes and Jovic, I want them to stay. If the Heat could keep them, keep them. I think the only untouchable, there's two, but I think there should only be one. But there's two untouchables, I think, with Miami right now, and that's Bam and Jimmy. And I think Bam should be the only untouchable.
Correct.
That's how I feel.
Correct.
Not saying I want any of those guys gone, but the only one that I would say unless it's Anthony Edwards, which we know is not going to happen.
I know.
The only touchable is Bam Adebayo. You can't have him. Everyone else on this roster, and I love Jimmy. And Jimmy's the second one, and I'm cool with that. Even though he's getting there.
Yeah.
As much as I love Jaime and Jovic, I'd rather them stay, but what are you giving me for them? Hero is probably the most valuable asset. The only reason why I think no teams have touched him yet or one is his injuries or whatever the hell's going on there. I think Barry Jackson brought it up. Let me start with this for you.
Okay.
You're saying I'm correct, so I'll let you lead off with that. I was going to ask you, am I correct to say that I believe Bam should be the only untouchable on this team? Everyone else should be made available, not really go after some crazy superstar. Let's not open that can of worms. We know they already bring up Kevin Durant because of what happened with the Suns. LeBron James teased about opting out. Donovan Mitchell. Who the hell else knows? But anyway, they're saying all these names. Let's not even talk on that. Let's just talk about using the assets that you have, the assets that's been on this roster year after year after year. You never get the chip, or they get injured and they're not available for the chip, or in the playoffs we got one and done, team blew up, whatever. Should every player but Bam be available in your mind? Is Bam the only untouchable?
I for sure, set in stone, the only untouchable is Bam. And I felt the same way even by last offseason. And I'm not saying here I'm advocating to trade Jimmy. I'm not. Do I believe they're going to trade Jimmy? They're not. I believe they're not going to trade Jimmy. I do believe there's many things, and we'll dedicate a whole show to it because I really want to do an offseason one with you.
Yeah,
we'll go in depth. There's 3 routes that the Heat can take this offseason. Obviously, it's going to be telling. Number one, we still don't know who is going to be available. We still don't know who's going to demand a trade. There's a lot of swirls of people waiting to see how the Cavs do, because really it all rides on if Mitchell acts out and demands only one team. And obviously he has, I believe, a year left in his contract, a year or 2 year. No, I think it's a year left after this one. So he's eligible for an extension. There's a lot of situations that have to come into play in regards to what route you take. Obviously, the NBA landscape also comes into play because when you're a tax team in regards to, for example, the Phoenix Suns, the second apron team, that's their team. The only way they can do anything is by trading Booker or trading Durant. You're not going to trade Beal because now you have to eat his no trade clause. You can't trade him.
He's untradeable. Yeah,
and it comes down to style of play with those teams. For example, the Celtics, as we see them constructed right now, this is the Celtics for next year. They're going to change some parts because it always changes, but now it comes into a question: can they extend Derek White? Because this is going to be Brown, this is Tatum, this is going to be Drew Holiday. But you've seen a trend which is the problem that we're facing, because we're at wit's end in regards to timelines, and this is why this timeline was tricky, because people are going to be like, oh, we're on Jimmy's timeline, but realistically, this organization is on Bam's timeline. Jimmy, as he got older, I always felt his role would change. He's still an integral part of the team, but it would change organically as he got older, because we tend to, and you kind of saw it this year with his shooting percentage going up, his 3-point percentage going up. So there are things that can change within the team. And I'm going to make this quick in regards to people running it back. Even if we come back with a similar team, when we acquired Rozier and Jovic developed, and you acquire and you draft Jaime, this was a different team than it was last year. It sucks that as a team, as an executive, as a front office, you can't evaluate it in a 7-game series because of injuries, which is another topic that I'll discuss, of why these injury trends are happening now, even with load management. And I do believe it has an adverse effect of revving up the body. Like your body goes through wear and tear, but it rests minimal. But sometimes when you go into these load management moments, even though you're doing certain exercises, you're always training, you're not putting your body through the extremity of a basketball game. So it tends to be that we're seeing this more often now. Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, again, obviously this was a freak injury. So there's even next year the philosophy of more importance for the regular season, because we took off the regular season once again. And 3 or 4 games determine the second seed from the eighth seed. And I'm not saying injuries won't happen, but it just throws a lot of things into the whirlwind in regards to what could have been or what could not have been. But you kind of feel that if there's one for sure player that possibly is moved, is Tyler Hero. That is the one for sure that probably people are going to look at. I don't think, and I think the second one there then becomes Jaime, because I believe they do want to keep Jovic, but I don't think Jaime or Jovic will stop a trade depending on who the player is, because you're going to take into account roster construction. You see the Celtics, right? Tatum and Brown. Is this their first year in the Celtics? No, this is what, seventh year? So they've grown organically. They've added pieces. The Nuggets, they've grown organically. The Thunder, no one expected the Thunder to be this good this quick. We expected them to be in the hunt in the fourth, fifth, but they took over a Western Conference that it's going to get more talented. The Nuggets are there to stay. The Timberwolves are there to stay. Realistically, this is the timeline that the Miami Heat are looking at. The East is not that strong. Like, the East has the Celtics. The Knicks didn't scare us. The Magic are up and coming. The Cavs have, out of all the teams in the East, I believe the Cavs and the Heat. The Heat, because of injury, we kind of understood it, but the Cavs have a lot of riding on this first round matchup, because if they have a first round exit, you're talking about a possible coaching change. You're talking about a few trades. Those starting lineups, even Garland, Mitchell, they could be on the move. So there's a lot of moving parts that Indiana's going to be strong, but they're still maybe like a year away, 2 years away. Orlando is the one that's one player away or two players away, rotational players, and they're going to be top three in the East. So it's going to be a very interesting 3 months. I want to let the finals play out, because obviously there's going to be the LeBron talk. There's going to be players asking out. Then you have to make decisions in-house. Highsmith, Martin, do you let them walk? Are they included in signing trades? Which I have to look it up. I do believe we can sign and trade them, but we cannot acquire a sign and trade player if we're a tax team in the first apron. So I got to read that fine print. But there will be moves, like there always is. How major they are, time will tell in regards to who's available. Because once again, the Heat want to change it up, but it's at their price limit, just like it was with Dame last year and all that. There's more urgency now, but it's still, once again, it sucks that you are back into the square of, we were injured, how can we evaluate it? And when Pat said about this is the fourth, fifth year in this, does it reach a breaking point at times with Jimmy? I doubt it. I'm not saying it will, but there's a point where you already know what Jimmy's going to give you. So you're going to change his role. You're going to make sure he's available. You can't control freak injuries, and it happens. No one envisioned Terry Rozier being acquired and being out for, 3 weeks now with a neck injury. So you did see, though, and also Duncan. Once again, if this is a regular season, Duncan Robinson is not playing any of these games. He can barely move, and you see that. He has no lift. I know Tyler had a horrible shooting game. It happens with shooters, but it does come now into play where Bam, really the part of this season is how Bam has solidified himself, where he is now your legit cornerstone. And it's on Jimmy also. I think Jimmy will embrace that and accept it and kind of pass the baton. And Jimmy's pretty in tune with that, even the way he talks about Jovic and the way he talks about Jaime. So it just comes down to, you have to sit down, go to the drawing board. You got to relax, number one. People have to relax, analyze injuries, see what it is. And then, obviously, financials come into play. Who's available comes into play. But everything's on the table, I believe, this year. And we might have a similar team come back. We might have a completely different team come back. So it just comes down to who's available.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do think that the Heat have to do. Look, they have assets in terms of money, contracts.
Correct.
Movable contracts. I know a friend of our show, friend of our part of our network family, Courtney won't like to hear this, but you think of Duncan. I mean,
You can move his contract. Yeah.
You could move his contract. He might be a valuable asset.
Mhm.
Tyler Hero, I know he's brought up every year, and I know there's games where he is the top guy in all this. But again, you think about at least I think about what moves the needle.
Mhm.
I think you can compete. I don't think you can move past with someone. You got to use that asset. And again, if it's not a superstar, get some people who complement Bam Adebayo. Get a roster around him that could. And I'm not saying because we know Tyler can complement. We know Duncan complements really well.
Oh yeah,
what I'm saying
that's
is
the part.
you got to get a roster complements, but could put you over that hump. That could get you against. We've done it before against Boston, but you also saw without Jimmy, which I think this team they won already without Jimmy. But if this team had another player that not Bam that they could rely upon, that's not Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, that was Rozier really.
I know true, and that's fair. There's Will in the house. No, but I think it's a conversation. It's time to have a real conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Hotcaz, again, the both young guys, I don't want to trade either one, but and I think I don't want to trade either one, and again, but I'm also not saying no to either one either. Even though I think I'm opposite of you in regards to what I think the Heat. I think the Heat value Hotcaz so much, a little bit more than they would a Jovic, because of what Hotcaz means to that roster. You saw what you saw. It was obvious what was missing tonight when watching them without Hotcaz. What he was able to bring to the floor when he was on the floor, and again, a Jimmy 2.0. The end. Plus, again, you think of the market, you think of what he brings to the market, you think what he brings to that team, how he's integrated with that team.
No, you have to take into account also what teams are going to ask for.
True,
because it's a two-way game in regards to that. But you did see him today. They hunted Hero, and you missed Triple J's defense on Brown today. That's away.
That's what I'm saying.
That's for number one.
And you've already said this. When I said I've told you before, it's like when we were drafted him before we drafted, I said, man, this guy could be Jimmy when Jimmy's not there.
Jimmy's on the floor.
And you've said it after. You're like, when you're watching him, you said, dude, this guy's better than what Jimmy was when Jimmy was that age.
Absolutely.
So you got to take into account what this guy's ceiling really is. So if it's one or the other, I'm like, man, you got to figure out how to make a move and still keep Hotcaz, because he's not just a developmental guy. This is a guy that could help you obviously throughout the regular season, but also help you in those stretches in the playoffs. That when your superstar gets off the floor, that guy gets on the floor. It's like you're not even missing anybody. I think if Rozier was here, obviously this might be
it would have been
4-2, a 4-3, whatever. But
this one really stinks. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm not trying to make excuses, because even Spo's not gonna make excuses. No one's gonna make excuses. We'll know the severity of Rozier's injury, and now after season, we'll know Duncan's severe level of injury after the season.
I like that.
But this one really stung, because like I said, I don't know if it's the gut punch that this team needed, because back-to-back years we've really taken the regular season off, and that's not very Miami Heat like. We've always load managed, even with LeBron and Wade, but we've never played the way we played, especially this year, because this year what was alarming to me, and I saw the trend, and I was trying to see, maybe it was obviously Jimmy was missing, they were trying to incorporate him. We struggled against above 500 teams, especially at home. There was a stretch there that we won I think 2-10 versus over 500 teams. So yeah, we were beating these under 500 teams that were underperforming, but we were struggling consistently against possible playoff teams. And that's telling, because you can get away with it last year. Okay, we had injuries. Once again, that's a problem. We are a team that made it to the finals. Yeah, we have a great young core, et cetera, but we also are the team that 2 years in a row we were in the play-in and a game away from missing the playoffs.
That's right.
So this is the part where you start analyzing what you have, and you are what you are, man. Your record speaks for itself. I know you can talk about injuries, but there comes a point where, unless it's like which I think is the number one trigger. No matter who's on the team, the offensive philosophy is going to change. You're no longer only relying on Jimmy. Like, you're going to play your style of offense whether Jimmy is playing or Jimmy is not playing. That is one thing I think is going to change philosophically
And let me
for the
just say,
team.
and let me just say too, again, this is just my opinion, but again, like I said, I think Bam should be the only untouchable. I'm not saying
Correct.
actively saying push Jimmy out, none of that. No.
No.
I'm saying he should be. If somebody calls you about Jimmy, talk, listen,
Yeah.
find like what or if you're trying to make a move and somebody brings up Jimmy,
Now,
don't hang up the phone.
What's trickier, and you're going to see it. Jimmy's eligible for an extension.
Yes.
So now we're going to see how they manage that. I do not believe Jimmy's going to get another max extension. I genuinely do not believe. I believe it would be irresponsible for the franchise to go to that 4-year max extension when Jimmy's 35 now. You can't pay that man until he's 39, even though he's.
Well, Barry Jackson said a great job because it was more about Bam because people were like, oh, if they entertain trading Bam or blah blah blah, then I'm done with this team. And he said, look, they traded Shaq.
Yeah.
They let Dwayne Wade walk. Now those guys were both older and everything else.
Yeah,
but still,
that's Jimmy's age there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'd use that now. And again, whatever helps your team. Now, if it depends on who you're getting. To me, Bam's the only untouchable. And guess you're talking about somebody of Anthony Edwards' potential. SGA is something you brought up last week.
Correct.
But Jimmy.
Yeah, Bam's not being moved
where,
unless he asks to be moved. And I don't think Bam's going to ask to be moved anytime.
No. And I'm not saying, don't trade Bam, but make him your lead guy. I'm not saying that. No. Because we just talked about it not too long ago. I think last week or the week before that. We need a guy that Bam could be that 2A or what do you call it, like 1A, 1B, 1B to a 1A. And to me, I think Jimmy is a little past that. Playoff Jimmy is a different story, but you need a guy who you brought up a Donovan Mitchell, whomever that may be that could help alleviate, because Bam as the lead guy is a lot tougher unless you have a total complementary roster of guys playing with him.
Yeah.
Which does that get you over the hump? I don't know. But if you got a guy that when Bam is scoring 30, and if whoever's there with you gives you 20, but this guy here that you traded for gives you that 25, 28 with 8 rebounds, whatever, and he pushes that team over, because it's different to pad your stats. It's different to look at the final number and go, oh shit, you had 35 points, 14 assists, and 5 rebounds. But where were you when the team needed you? You needed to put the team on your back and push to win. Anthony Edwards does that. LeBron James has done it.
Oh yeah, those are
not saying
greats. No,
but what I'm saying is you need a guy who's Jimmy Butler has done that. Mm-hmm. Butler did that in the bubble. Butler had done it after the bubble, where you saw a different. Jimmy during the season is a star. Correct. Jimmy during the playoffs is a superstar. Mm-hmm. And so that's what you need. You need someone who you could trust to put on your back, to put the team on his back, and help lead it across the finish line. With Bam there coming on the floor and being that enforcer.
Either way, you run everything through Bam, and people don't realize this. Sure. Like, you run everything through Bam, defensively and offensively. Are there times, for example, that I felt, and when we talked about this, and I mentioned it, Game 2 was an anomaly because you're not going to drop 23 3-pointers every game. You're not going to shoot 55%. Now, Celtics, granted, they made an adjustment. I felt that we could have made an adjustment pushing the pace with certain personnel that we had. We didn't do it, obviously. Like, we talk about this a million times, and it's a psychological part of the game where when you're not doing so well offensively, it affects defensive side of the ball, and it's across the board. So it's a lot of things, man, that it's very unfortunate, but it's also a necessity because you kind of force now to analyze, even with injuries. And you have to analyze things within the injury, too. So you got to make the best move possible.
I think this is the first, and it's funny because I just said the similar thing about the Dolphins in regards to their draft. Mm-hmm. A different way, though, I guess the opposite direction. Yeah. This is the first time going into an offseason for the Heat where I feel like changes legitimately have to be made. You cannot run it back with this team.
No.
You have to make a legitimate change. But the good thing is, I don't think Miami can't use their draft pick. So I don't think they could. They can't trade their draft pick, right?
Well, they can trade him after they draft him. They have to draft. Yes.
Now, what I'm saying is, you lose a young guy, you got another young guy coming in.
Correct.
Or again, you could.
And people forget about this. People forget about it. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
when people keep talking about the Heat running back, we tried to acquire Damian Lillard. We tried to acquire Kevin
100%.
Durant the year before.
100%,
So
yeah.
like people like we've run it back because we understand what we have and
What
we
I'm
like our
saying
team,
is, though,
but
a lot, but you know, my
now
thing,
it's a
well,
necessity.
with the Portland Trailblazers was different because they were just being stupid. They were just
Yeah.
being annoying with the whole thing.
Yeah.
But when you think of a KD and whatever, the
Mhm.
Heat were, I mean, the Heat have been a little bit handcuffing themselves, saying, you can have this guy, but you can't have that guy. I won't talk to you
Yeah.
with this guy. You
Yeah.
know, I think the Heat have to go into this offseason, obviously saying, hey, look, everyone else is on the table except for Bam.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
you got-
you don't, that does not mean that you don't agree to a trade that includes so-and-so, but you
of
could
course.
say, okay, what are you willing to give me if for this guy here? All right, I'm willing
Yeah.
to do this. Well, I can't kill. That's going to deplete my back. That's going to deplete my team. I can't do it. All right, what can you give me? I can give you this guy, and I give you. You know what I mean? And then the only
you
guy.
realistically have 3 movable contracts because obviously they can pivot and maybe even extend if anything. Rozier, I'm just throwing out here, but you have Rozier which has 1 year left. That's an expiring deal. You have Hero, which is at a very affordable contract for a player of his size, for example, that you can make contracts work. You got Robinson, like you mentioned, a movable contract. So you have 3 pieces that you can actually move that can get you a return of disgruntled superstar, or maybe 2 disgruntled superstars if you push, if you make the economics work. Because like the Sun showed us, man, it's very difficult unless you hit on all spots. You're gonna see very few teams with 3 max players like the Suns have because it limits you every sense of the way. You can't build around a team unless you hit on your draft picks. And now you see the NBA evolving, which, believe it or not, if we don't trade our pick, this pick this year, the top, it's a weak draft per se, but it's a very deep draft. So the 15th pick, you're gonna see a lot of teams target tall wing players, like functional size in all spots. Like you're not gonna see Miami just have specialists in regards to. You might see Delon Wright come back as a backup point guard. Josh Richardson has a player option. He'll probably exercise it and come back. That's another one that we're missing, Josh Richardson. Like this year has been, I've always seen certain injuries and guys being banged up, but I have never seen the collective injuries all at once hit a team come playoff time like this. I really haven't.
So let me ask you this, because
ahead.
you great point too about running it back. The Heat have not tried to run it back. They've tried to because player like Damian Lillard, it's hard not to entertain that or try to approach that because he made it known that he wanted to be with the Heat.
Correct.
Portland, I don't know how the hell that freaking guy got 2 votes. Whoever voted Cronin 2 votes for executive of the year.
Honestly,
that is like a legit take your thing. Like
that's a kiss ass right there, bro.
Like Brad Stevens, as much as I can't stand the Celtics, I hate.
He made all the right moves.
He absolutely should have gotten that vote as much as he did. I mean, you think of what the OKC, what Sam Presti has done, you know, and Minnesota, what those guys were able to do. People were laughing at the Rudy Gobert move. Look how that's turned out, even though Anthony Edwards is obviously the lead dog.
Well, I gotta give him I did not think the Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns would match up or work if they kept the same philosophy. But they changed the philosophy. They let Anthony Edwards run it. Cat opened up. He became kind of like a secondary option, and he's gone.
Can I tell you something?
What happened?
Minnesota's gonna take out Denver.
I think
that's
so.
That's my prediction.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see that series and then see the Western Conference Finals. Because I believe the Thunder will be. But you see,
I want to see the Thunder. Hey, wait, will it be the Thunder versus Timberwolves? I don't have it in front of me, right?
No, if the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets, it will be Thunder versus Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals.
Who are the Thunder?
They're waiting for the Thunders are waiting for LA and Dallas.
Dallas, okay.
Look at the league. Look at the league right now, Bob. Those teams over there are young teams. The Thunders are 24. Their starting lineup is an average of 24 years.
So let me ask you this. I think if I remember, I think you picked the Clippers to go at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, when I said it fully healthy, I thought the Clippers could go all the way.
And again, they're playing right now, but now that the Heat are out, there you go. Now that the Heat are out, what's the finals you want to see? Like without the Heat, like right now, you got all the teams still available. Say, Bobby, I want to see these teams go at it.
Oh, the finals I want to see the Thunder or the Timberwolves versus the Pacers. But I know Celtics. I mean, Celtics are going to have a tough time against Orlando if Orlando comes out because Orlando has functional size in all positions. So they're going to give the Celtics hell, especially without Porzingis. So the Celtics might be in trouble. If Cleveland manages to beat Orlando, Cleveland is a much better matchup for Boston. I think Boston can beat Cleveland like in 5 or 6 games. But I do love Indiana. You have those are the teams that you have nothing to lose, man. And the league has the Phoenix Suns to me made a trade like 5 years too late. The league has evolved where a lot of teams are grown organically. You add pieces to it, but they're very young. And now there's a big difference. People confuse youth with inexperience. You could be a young team and be a very mature
Yeah.
and experienced team. So people, oh, he needs a veteran. Oh, he needs a 36-year-old. No, that's not necessarily true. It's good to have a veteran presence, like the Thunder acquired Gordon Hayward. So he's not playing as much, but he's in the locker room. He's talking to you, kind of like what we have with Kevin Love. Things like that are always essential. But the league is changing, man. The type of player is changing.
Yeah, I first off, in regards of the West, I'm with you at Oklahoma or Minnesota, just because it's the future.
Yeah.
I want to see Oklahoma and Minnesota. I would love to see Minnesota, really, because of Anthony Edwards. I mean, this
Bro,
dude
he's a star.
is the second coming, third coming, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
I mean, and not that I would hate Oklahoma. I mean, SGA, Holmgren, those guys are legit. Now in the East, I don't want to see the Celtics whatsoever, and I'm not
They are
acknowledging
assembled
who they
great.
are. I'm not
They are
acknowledging
assembled
who
great.
they are. You know what I mean? I'm not.
I just hate Tatum. I hate
disrespect-
Tatum, bro.
Oh, I can't stand Tatum.
I
can't
me,
stand his face. I can't
he
stand his
complains about everything. He travels.
Did you see that foul, dude, when he rolled on his ankle?
Yes,
I was like, are you serious, dude?
Now, before I forget, this is one of the reasons that, to me, Bam, and don't get me wrong, I love Al Horford, whatever. What Bam did you see the first play, Bam, when he set the screen
No.
on Horford? Oh, my God. Horford had a little cheap shot on Bam towards the end of the game when he went to pick up one of the players.
You talking about today?
Today,
Yeah.
Bam started the game, and the first thing his pick, he went right through Horford. Do you remember what Kobe said that he was going to do to Gasol? That
Yes.
he just went right through. Bam went right through fucking Horford, extended and pushed
Because
him on the
Horford
ground.
pushed him from behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
Good.
right there to me solidifies. Bam is the epitome of who we are,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, no. So this is what I was gonna say. I love that Cap brought first off Cap in the house.
Mhm.
Craig, great to see you guys. Everyone who's watching right now, we got about 70 people watching through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc.
I think Dallas is
Thanks
going to
for
pull
watching.
it off.
But for me, obviously, okay, the West, OKC and Minnesota, I'm leaning towards Minnesota just because of the way their roster is built. And that goes for Oklahoma as well. But Minnesota, just the way their roster is built with the size, I think it matches up well with the Denver Nuggets. With Anthony Edwards, I think, man, what he did to KD is that just puts him on another stratosphere. And I want to see that continue on. On the East side, though, of course, I would love to see Orlando push it through just because it is Florida. I lived in Orlando for several years, and that's kind of cool to see. But the league is so much better when the New York Knicks are good. And wouldn't it be a badass? Wouldn't it be so cool to see the New York Knicks in the finals? Jalen Brunson, what he's done, he's like Jimmy right now in regards of playoffs. I mean, he's always been good, great, but he is on a.
The Knicks better make sure they don't lose Game 6 in Philadelphia, because the way they lost Game 5, the way they led which Tyrese Maxey, that's another conversation I'll talk about another day, because that still hurts, because I wanted Tyrese Maxey to team up with Hero in our backcourt, and I thought it was going to happen, and it did not happen.
What happened? What?
Sacrilegio.
What happened, bro? What happened? Come on, man. We're just talking here to get her out. I don't want to see freaking Boston. Is it the Knicks? You don't want the Knicks?
Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm going to say this. If the Knicks make it to the finals ball against any of those teams, the Knicks are getting swept.
Well, of course. Of course. I mean, I want to see, again, I would rather see Orlando, but, they're down 3-2, and I think Cleveland could probably close it out, Even though I would love to say no Knicks. Okay, all right. Take it easy.
No, take it easy, friend. Take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy, man. Take it easy. Quote unquote Scarface.
Oh man.
But it's gonna be interesting, dude. I mean, it sucks that the Heat are out, but the basketball's in a good place right now, I think. It's gonna be an entertaining offseason because what the hell is gonna happen to LeBron James? What is he gonna go back in? I like the way he answered. I think he's done. I think he's done with the Lakers.
Honestly, bro, I thought
I can't see him going back to the Lakers, dude. I mean, he could have easily said, "This is not." No, you know what? Yeah, he could have been. But the way he went,
he's just on top of it. To me, I can't.
He's always been 2 steps ahead, dude. He's
always. And I don't even think I'm like, bro, is LeBron going to retire? But I'm like, nah, he won't retire. But he.
Well, Rich Paul says he thinks he has 2 to 3 years left. Rich Paul, which is.
That's the thing, man. In the right system, and
that's like me or you or me talking on behalf of ourselves. Like if I say, "Oh, Bobby, what about Alex?" I think Alex has 2 to 3 years. I know you're on a level where I could probably comfortably say that. Vice versa, where you can say, "You know what? There's a lot of stuff going on. Maybe his hip, this." Then they're like, "Oh shoot, man! If Alex is saying that,
there are things that, for example, if you throw this out there, right? Let's say like there's just a scenario." You see the Heat are in talks and they want to draft Bronny James, and I think we can develop him. I really do think.
For sure.
He was misused in college in regards to who he is. Now, one name to remember. Now, this is way early, but I want to say this because it's Anthony Carter's son, Devin Carter. He actually went to Doral Academy. He won a state championship with Doral Academy. Devin Carter from Providence. Is it Providence? Yes, Providence. 6'3" combo guard, elite shooter. And he kind of fits what we need, but we need to get a little taller in all our positions. We really do.
We do.
We do. That's one thing that we need to do because we're really like the league is kind of getting away from us, and that's why I like the Bam and Jovic pairing and Hyman because you're still strong, even though you're a little shorter, still strong. But back to the thing, Bronny gets drafted. Bron wants to come and join Miami. You technically can run it back minus Hero. Or Rozier, and you got LeBron, Jimmy, Bam, Robinson. So you have a nucleus there. But once again, I think it's just a pipe dream, to be honest with you. Would I entertain? Do I think? And James Jones said something today about no one has really used Kevin Durant the right way. Man, Kevin Durant, when he met with the Heat and Spoelstra presented to him how he would facilitate and make the game easier for him, he used that formula when he went to the Warriors because it was just the fact that, remember, that's one thing that Wade at that time, we were in turmoil and Wade wasn't recruiting for the franchise, which I still think if Wade would have recruited Durant, if we would have had that good relationship, Durant would have excelled here. But there's a lot of things, man, that are going to come into play. And I'm just waiting for the next superstar to ask out because it always happens. And it's sometimes unforeseen. And remember, this year, the people that are going to surprise in the trade market, you're looking at the Utah Jazz and the Pelicans. They're going to shake up the market because Utah is willing to move a lot of picks. The Pelicans are in dire need of making changes, so Ingram might even be on the move. So you're having moving pieces here where it could be a fun off season again, just like it was last year. And it's going to come down. I'm not going to say it's going to come down to training camp. But it could drag deep into the summer after the draft. No 20, James. You're on mute.
Sorry. I was asking. I took 4 Advil and they haven't worked. So I asked Tati to bring me my Nurtec, which is my migraine medicine because I don't want it to pop up. But what's I going to tell you? So it's going to be very entertaining. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out for the Heat. It's not going to be a boring off season whatsoever, and it definitely hasn't been a boring off season for the Dolphins. And first off, I saw Will. I see Will in there, and I do want to give kudos, guys. If you haven't yet, go check out 305 Sports Now on YouTube with Will. He had Finstanza on the other day. He had recorded an episode with him, and they had a great show, and there are a lot of kind words they had said about the channel and about me, which was very nice. I'm very thankful for that. But awesome. Just great content. Miami Hurricanes, Dolphins. They talk on it all. I'm waiting for him to connect me to a Hurricanes guy. I want to get a Hurricane show rolling on here. So I do want that. Again, Marlins, Panthers, combat sports, get it all. Let me pop this in my mouth for a second now. Thank you, babe.
Pill popping, a live on it. I love it, man.
It dissolves. It dissolves in your mouth.
Mm.
Oh God. It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's just a bitter little aftertaste.
It's like how do I say this? It's a pill. It dissolves, so it becomes powdery. But it tastes like a mint you would get from your grandpa or your grandma. You know?
An older mint.
Yeah, like a one. Yeah, they go, oh, here you want a candy, and it's like old,
deep in the purse.
Yeah, it's like no, you can still taste the mint, but it's dry.
This used to be mint. Now it's just mint.
Yes, Ralph, I want to get Hurricanes on here, man. Will does a great Hurricane show on his channel, and he's connected with a lot of content creators, and so I reached out. I asked him about that. So, but I know he's a busy man. But I want to get a Hurricane show up on here, man. Anywho, yeah, because we're growing. We got great stuff, and I want to get this Miami sports going. And Marlins. Even though the Marlins struggle, we got the Florida Panthers. Got Inter Miami. You got it all, man. And we're rolling it out, man. We're just rolling. We're growing and keep going. So that was the Heat. Season is over. Like Alex said, we will continue our Heat conversation with a more in-depth offseason outlook and probably a Miami Heat dedicated show. So we'll probably do a Goon Squad special edition of these 10 Shrew Boys.
For sure.
And figure that out. But now let's get into it, man. Fins talk. Let's get into some Fins talk. Talk about the Miami Dolphins. Man, what a weekend. Again, what a draft. It was so much fun for me. Again, just having everybody on. Will was on. Josh Wingate, what he was able to do. Everyone who tuned in, it was so cool to have him on. Let me update this for a second. I'm playing around, guys, so bear with me. I know what to do.
Technical developments.
Yeah, there we go. Booyah. So what we're going to do, first off, the draft. I just want to say this. This was my first draft in maybe 2 seasons where I left not trying to talk myself into liking the draft. As a fan, you leave the draft class, Alex, and you go, like, we could talk about Ted King back in the day where you and I were like, dude, he's fast. Okay, now and we're talking ourselves into it.
Yeah.
This was draft. I came out going, I see the vision.
Mm-hmm.
I see the potential.
Mm-hmm.
Between Greer and McDaniel, I see what their vision is.
Their cohesiveness, yes.
Even Anthony Weaver, I'm very excited about this class and what this class can do. Obviously, with draft picks, you want a starter, you want a star, you want to hit a home run. Everybody wants that. But what's more important about the draft, especially these young guys, obviously got projects, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of these guys are plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is they don't have to start, but they can come in and you look at Cam Smith. Cam Smith never came on to the field last year. He wasn't plug and play. Whether that was Fangio or him, I don't know. We'll see. Channing Tindall, we're still asking where he is. Eazy-E, we're still asking where he is. You need a player who could come in and step up. Come in and step up. Step up and come up and step up. You want a guy who would be able to do that. And I believe in this draft, you got a lot of these guys. These guys, and you don't know, these guys could become starter, superstar type players down the line.
Correct.
The history of 21 overall pick ending up being one of the great players is very good. We'll see what happens with Chop Robinson. Patrick Paul might be your, especially at 55, might be your most project pick because where you drafted him. Mm-hmm. But it makes sense. That pick makes sense.
That could be your future starting left tackle once Armstead retires.
Patrick McMorris, later on, you need a safety. Again, he's a camp body. We'll see if he makes it. We're going to go pick by pick here, Alex. And I know you're about to tear your hair out. You just did your whole little thing up here.
My bad.
Cool. No. Keep it going.
Keep it going.
I like the mad scientist look. But I legitimately feel really damn good about this draft. Again, this offseason's not over. I know a lot of people were saying Chop Robinson gave them the Charles Harris vibes. I've seen a few people say that. Just talking yourself into hating the pick. But you gotta let it play out. I understand the idea of that. I understand the concept of that. But I don't think that's fair.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
And that's the same reason I say I don't think it's fair to give a player, who hasn't played a snap and say, oh, he's the next big thing. When Tua was drafted, he's the next Drew Brees. It's like, dude, you could say his game models after that.
Correct.
But don't say he's that, because then you're expecting him to be that. Oh,
Correct.
Chop Robinson, he's the next Cam Wake. Stop.
Correct.
Stop. Don't do that. That's not fair, because when he's not that, you're gonna hate on him, and the whole crowd's gonna hate on him.
The one thing I love, Bob, and I'm pretty sure you guys talked about it, that resounded to me with every draft pick, especially our first two, was the fact how they wanted to play for Miami.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother.
That to me shows the change of culture, the appreciation that people, because I know at times people think that that Mike McDaniel has this soft personality and that this organization doesn't care about winning and we're all soft and this and that. I'm like, you don't have to scream at the top of your lungs to be a good head coach and to be a coach that holds his player accountable and building a winning culture. People forget sometimes that culture does matter, and you being a player's coach and players wanting to play for you does not mean you're not tough, or does not mean you don't hold them accountable. Is you're building a good work environment where players are going to grow. Players are going to want to come there. There's a reason why players want to come to Miami now. And that wasn't the case a few years ago. We always said, we're not a free agency destination. No one wants to play for the Dolphins. People want to play for the Dolphins. And it's not only about flashing and all that. It's they see what we're building little by little. And I do believe organically with this draft, you kind of also saw a confident Chris Greer, where he believed in himself, believed in McDaniel, and they, like you mentioned, I think that they're genuinely ecstatic. I know every team's going to come out and say it, and I'm pretty sure they missed on a few picks that they would have loved to have, but I believe they're ecstatic with all their selections because they felt that it was the BPA at every single time. That's what I honestly feel. It was BPA every time they picked.
It felt like that, and I know some people had said to me, Chop Robinson was not the best player available, according to you. That's okay. Everyone has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to who they thought was the best player available. On my board with Chop Robinson as a pass rusher, he was the next best player available. Could you have gotten another edge rusher later? Sure. Would he have been at the same grade as Chop? No. But we're going to touch on that. And Scotty, first off, thank you, Scotty, for the kind words. I think you're right. I think the work that we had put in, the on the clock crew, Josh Wingate, Michael Vogel, it does allow me to appreciate this a lot more. And I will set. Why is this set screen? It's not. Just wait, Todd. We're gonna do something. Just hold on. It's Scotty. There you go. He had for 18 first-round grades. Chop was one of them. I love that.
I don't understand how people are saying that they don't have Chop as a first-rounder, or I don't get that.
And look, everyone has their thing. Look, I want to tell Scotty very quick. The 2025 draft, I've already started.
Jesus Christ, man.
I got the prospects already pulled. I've watched Carson, and again, I have it set. We're preseason now, postseason after. Pre-draft.
Take a break, man. Go to Cancun. Come on.
No, man. We are working.
Mel
I'm
Kiper?
talking to Vogel. Alex, I love this.
I know, man.
I love this. And let me just say, this is just initial reaction. Scotty, Scotty will see this grow as we go on because I know he watches, and I'm so freaking thankful for him for actively watching. But he'll see it, because I know we're going to talk about this later. Right now, just watching this, starting this, Deion Sanders has said that his son's going to be a top 5 pick. I don't see it.
No.
I got to watch more. I'm going to watch more. I have preseason, postseason, pre-draft. That first couple games that I've watched, no. Carson Beck, yes. Carson Beck looks really good out of Georgia, but I'm already putting in the work. But anyway, neither here nor there.
Before the season starts, don't worry.
When does Tua get his extension? They said it's going to take a little bit. I am not holding my breath. It will happen when it happens. I do think it will happen. And I don't think it will be the end of the world. I know some fans might think that. I don't. It is what it is. All right. Let's go back to the 2-person window. Why is there a 3-person window? Because we're doing this.
Boom.
We're going to go pick by pick. Bam. Chop Robinson.
Chop a style.
Chop Robinson. First off, this is I want to make sure I got this right. This is done by Vintage J. These graphics from Twitter, man, he did an amazing job. I'm using them here. I want to give the kudos to him. But so Chop Robinson, Miami takes him with the 21st overall pick. Latu verse Dallas Turner was falling. He got picked up by the Vikings. I thought Turner could have been the pick. I was a little itching at the edge of my chair. Alex liked the Miami Heat pick. I called I said Chop Robinson's name right before our pick. They asked, who do you think the pick? And I said, well, it could be edge rusher.
Oh, you called it? You called it?
Edge rusher. I say, look out for Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson. Again, no patting on the back, but okay. But anyway, Troy Fautanu was selected. Again, I don't think the Heat were targeting a guard at all. I think they were going edge rusher. Mike McDaniel
Dolphins
had said it. Oh, the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel had said that if
PTSD,
he could,
like the
PTSD.
Heat guard,
Miami Heat
hero.
Bastards. Trade hero. But I think the Dolphins. God damn it! Now the Dolphins were gonna go edge rusher. No matter, that was their goal. Despite what we're saying, McDaniel teased it. Mm-hmm. The way their offseason had gone in regards to signings made a lot of sense that it leaned towards that.
Correct.
So it just, again, and you think, you go, oh, but Chop Robinson wasn't the best player on the board. Blah, blah, blah. Again, according to you, to the Dolphins, obviously he was high. You look at players they could have got after. I don't want to look at players ahead because Miami wasn't trading up, so I'm not going to worry about that. But the players after, when I look at possible picks afterwards, Alex, you look at Jacksonville at pick 23, they took Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
That would have been a solid pick.
That was one. For me.
And the other one for me, even though there's other guys here, I will say, was Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 26, Graham Barton.
Yeah.
That could have been another possible player. You could tackle, center, guard.
If we would have traded down, I think that would have been the pick. Yeah,
and again, Chop Robinson was, after those top 3 guys were taken, was your next best edge rusher. Mm-hmm. He did have a first round. He was a first round edge rusher. When you look at the numbers, if you just go to ESPN.com, type in Chop Robinson, Penn State, you look at those numbers and you go, oh, what? His production does not meet his film. Mm-hmm. When you put on the tape, you see a guy with elite pass rushing tools. The next best guy out before him was Latu. Mm-hmm. Latu from UCLA, who went to where the hell did he go to? Latu went to the Indianapolis Colts. He's obviously, the tools, pass rushing, all that whatnot, amazing. Chop Robinson's the next best thing. Okay, I was happy with this pick. Again, when you look at who else was on the board, I guess that could make your pick kind of go, okay, maybe if you would have traded down, you could have got him later. I mean, later mean 28, 29, maybe. Yeah. Who knows? If you look at it, probably 27, he could have been picked up by the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, he would have been off the board.
Darius Robinson. So you make your pick. So for me, I think overall, I think Dolphins draft was solid, but I give him, and this is not trying to be way positive or negative, I think just based off what it was here, a C+. I like this pick a lot. That was a solid pick. Alex, I know you followed it. I know you were busy too. Probably, digging holes in your backyard or trying to fix your sewage under your house.
Driveway.
Driveway, that's what you did. The driveway. But when you figured out or when you realized the Dolphins took Chop Robinson at 21, obviously you were familiar with Chop Robinson because of our account.
Yes, because of course.
And everything else. And I know you were looking at you were intrigued by Johnny Newton out of Illinois.
Johnny Newton, yeah.
But how do you feel about this pick? And if you have a grade, that's okay. But what was your thoughts initially on this selection?
Well, if I'm going to grade, I'm going to say a B plus.
Okay.
Because I do believe it was BPA for them, and I love that it was BPA for them because, like you mentioned, yeah, they could have traded down, but then they run the risk of it not being a secure pick. And when you have your guy, you're going to pick him. I'm going to draft him. I don't care what you offer me. I'm going to pick my guy, and I do think this is obviously Anthony Weaver's wheelhouse in regards to this is his style of football, and Chop Robinson. When Phillips comes back, when oh my God, Chubb comes back, I feel that defensively, with the playmakers that we have in Jalen Ramsey, Jordan Poyer, Javon Holland, this defense is athleticism. This defense is physical. This defense is everything that we haven't been for a while. Like Chop Robinson has what I love, and I was going to sound a little corny. He has an edge to him. When you saw him, first of all, he's a physical specimen. He runs what, like a 4.4, 4.5.
Yeah, he's fast, dude.
So this is the style of football that they want to play. Fast, physical, in your mouth. I'm going to be on top of you all the time. And like you mentioned, the stats does not do him justice because he changes the dynamic of a play within the play, and it's not going to be noted on the box score. And he just, to me, what I love the most is how ecstatic he was of coming to Miami and being coached by our coaches. It's a warming feeling when an athlete of that caliber wants to prove himself and feels that your organization is the best place that he can, especially with the changes in defense.
I love that. Fair point.
Mini Tampa, Arizona. Yeah, with Scotty, Chop would have been off the board the next couple of picks.
No, that's why. Again, looking at who came after, that's kind of where I'm judged. That's where the grade kind of comes in a little bit for me because I look, but judging on what would have happened after, he would not have been board of 21. That's why I like the pick. It was a solid pick. I think if Miami wanted a pass rusher, and they got a very good one in Chop Robinson, who I think people who are hating on this move now, again, like I said that night, those who are hating on Chop Robinson now, or at least the pick of an edge rusher now, are going to love this move 2 years from now. Absolutely. I think this dude's going to be a solid pick, and I think fans are going to love him. Let me read some of Scotty's stuff here. I see Scotty putting some comments in here. Okay. I know Fontana. You like Fontana a lot. Again, that's fair. I do think, though, they were going edge rusher no matter what, unless all four of those guys were off the board. Penn State led the nation in sacks per game. No player had double digits. It was a design of the scheme to spread things out. There's a video of him just destroying. Exactly. Yeah, that's fair. That is abso-freaking-lutely fair. I heard reports that Tampa, Minnesota, and Arizona wanted Chop. Yeah, he would have been off that board. And it's the same goes for the next pick. Whether it's the right or wrong pick, I don't know. But I believe Miami saw the writing on the wall. They believed that the run, which they were right, they kind of started that run, that the offensive tackles were going to start coming off the board. Patrick Paul out of Houston. Talking to my friends for Houston University, Houston alumni, Mike, the Hebrew Hammer Brown, and Alex Brown, former host of No Holds Barred. They love this guy. They love watching him. They're excited about him being on the Dolphins. Alex Brown, of course, is a Houston Texans fan, and Mike is a Dolphins fan. But this guy is 6'7", 6'8", 331 pounds. Behemoth of a human being. I love the idea of this pick. Again, like I said, I probably could have gone somewhere else in regards of offensive line with this pick, Alex. I'm just being honest. I'm not hating it. I trust Butch Berry. I trust Mike McDaniel. This guy, as big as this guy is, he's a fast guy too. Again, you look at Marshawn Nealon right after this. That's an edge rusher. If they didn't go edge rusher first, they could have got edge rusher here. Javon Ballard, safety, was after there at 58. Blake Fish out of Notre Dame. I liked him. Kingsley, what's this? I'm sorry. Kingsley Saumatia, offensive tackle at BYU, another guy. You could have gone either way with this pick. You could have traded again. You could have traded back and probably got him later. But I think Miami said, "Hey, look, we're not going to risk trading back. There's going to be a run. I can't risk not having this guy." I think Miami knew who they wanted, and they got him. You can't hate them for that.
No, at all.
Or you can't. You could say, "Man, I would have got this guy." Like I could have said, "Yeah, I could see guys I probably win with over him."
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the idea of it. It's the same thing with Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson, you think of Jalen Phillips. He's going on his 5th-year option. Bradley Chubb has a major contract that has to probably be moved after next season. You need someone to come in. Now you don't have to worry about drafting a guy next year. You have your guy already.
Yep.
Chop Robinson. Same goes for Kamara a couple picks later.
Oh, Kamara.
Terron Armstead.
Him and Kamara are going to be. Oof.
Terron Armstead, we know is more than likely gone after next season. He may retire. He's a high contract number. Now you're not waiting to draft a guy next year to grow, groom, and replace. You have
Correct.
your guy already on the roster. He's
Correct.
under Terron Armstead. Armstead is teaching him on the job. Butch Berry is grooming him on the job. So if and when he does come in later this year, because you know how Armstead goes in and out, we know Kendall Lamb is there. When he goes in and out, or if next year he eventually steps in, he has a year under his belt of learning under the trades, kind of like a quarterback, except now you use your tackle. I love the idea. Again, there's other players on this board, especially offensive line. I could have gone. I brought up their names. And I know this is going to sound a little hateful, but it's not. I promise you. But I think a C is fair just because I could have gone either way. But I love the idea of this pick. I know you probably haven't done too much or had beforehand research on him, but are you with me on the whole loving the idea of Patrick Paul?
Oh, I love the idea of Patrick Paul. Not only because he also knows Terron Armstead personally for a few years.
I didn't know that. Okay.
That's another thing. It's the familiarity, and you're basically grooming your possible replacement. And Armstead looks to be a player that is always open to help fellow linemen. And to me, he has right there has a nasty streak. This draft, what it showed me is physicality, obviously speed, but we're drafting. We're being a physical team in the trenches, like we always talked about, and defensively. And the Paul pick to me just solidifies the fact that for your depth, because obviously that's one of the key units where we always lack depth and we've always been criticized for it. You see that their attention to detail is we're going to start drafting an early 2nd-round pick. We're going to draft him because not only is he the replacement for Armstead, but he possibly could play this year. And he has all the tools to succeed. So, and once again, you cannot say it's too early to draft any possible replacement in regards to, like you just mentioned, the edge rusher with Chubbs. And I'm not saying I think Phillips is going to come. I think Phillips obviously will be extended as well. I believe Chubb will bounce back. But you have now depth pieces where last year, when they went down with injuries, you were completely depleted. You go into Kansas City and you have Chop Robinson on one edge, and what is the Kamara? Oh my God, is it Kamara?
Kamara. Yeah.
Kamara.
And
you got Kamara on the other edge. It's completely different, man. So those are things that they've analyzed the holes that the team has. You kind of saw their offseason, how they were free agency wise, and obviously still post June 1st. There's going to be more moves, but you kind of saw them dissecting what they needed so they can still pick BPA, but they're able to pick BPA in the trenches in regards to the units that need the most depth, which was last year what we were lacking at times was on our front 7, our edge rushers. So that's something to me, and with the Chop pick, the Kamara pick that we'll talk about later, solidifies the Paul pick because you're not only going on potential, you're going on actual. And I believe Paul is the opposite of Chop Robinson. His stats actually back up who he is and the value that he has to the team. So to me, it's a win-win. I'll give it a C+.
I like that. Okay, that's fair. This next one here was a surprise, just because they moved up, even though there was talk that Miami was trying to move up earlier. But I think might end up being my most favorite pick in this draft. I'm very excited about this pick, Jalen White, out of Tennessee. bear with me for just a moment here. But yeah, Miami moves up into the 4th round again. A lot of running backs were not moving at this point. Miami kind of started the run on running backs at this venture. And here's the thing about the running backs in this class. My top running back was Blake Corum, who got drafted, I believe, by the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
But Brett Legassi brought up Jalen White the night before the draft, or the night before this pick was made. I watched Jalen White during the draft process, loved what I saw. No one running back, you could have argued any back was the number 1 back in this class.
Yeah.
Pull this up here. If I could find it. There he is. Let me see if I got his info in front of me. I don't. Yeah. Jalen. But so anyway, I was surprised. I loved it when they traded. Of course, you think about who could have been that move, who could have been the pick. You look at guys who were selected after him, Kate Stover. Look at all the running backs that came right after him: Bucky Irving, Will Shipley, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen. And he was one of the guys I brought up once. Scottson, he's a thumper. Jacob Cowing, wide receiver. But the Dolphins go and get Jalen White, who again you think of 5'10".
Right.
I'm going to get it wrong. I'm not good with that. Don't do it. The Dolphins, if similar to what last year, if you think of the offense, you look at the draft class, and the word that comes up with it is speed.
Yes.
And again, I wanted a thumper, and not that this guy can't be that, and he won't be that. He will.
I
believe he will.
Yeah.
5'10", 2 something. He is another fast one.
And get ready for McDaniel's creativity here, because you're going to have multiple personnels with a chain at the field, right on the field, Mostert on the field.
Him, Mostert, and H together, and he'll be able to be. I think he's obviously Mostert's replacement. Again, the Dolphins. A lot of these picks are guys that.
Correct.
You look at these picks, you can see where the story is going. Here. You kind of see the plan in place where it's like, okay, once this guy falls out, this guy's coming in.
2 years from now is riding a chain, and you got a 2-headed monster. Like that's legit what they're doing. And even with the wide receivers, there's something there, man.
5'11". Sorry, 5'11". Let me see if I can get his numbers up, because I want to touch on that.
Is he physically almost same weight and height as Jay Ajayi, or no? Jay Ajayi was a little taller.
No, I don't think he was tall. I don't know.
Look at that, bro. 5'11", 210, runs a 4.3. That is insane. He's like a chain, but a chain is like what, 180, 190?
Yeah. Let me see here. I could see Nicky saying something like that.
This guy reminds me, believe it or not,
Ajayi was
Terrell
6
Davis.
foot 223. Ajayi was 6 foot 223.
Okay.
Where Jalen is 5'11", 200 about, or a little more now.
200.
So he's right there. But again, in Tennessee last season, he rushed for 1,013 yards. Let's see, 4 touchdowns. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by this pick. I love what I saw from him. I see the potentials there. I love the vision. Again, this screams what their vision they have in place. Yeah, that's the other thing right there. Low thread mileage, 5'11", 210. It's just,
bro.
Running back. I mean, we talked about this, Scotty. Running back wasn't off the books. I had said any position, but quarterback would be, could be. But Miami took Jalen, and I was happy with that selection, and I'm very excited about this. Great pass protector. I think he might have the most impact next season.
Correct.
Especially with this offense. I'm very intrigued to see what he's going to do. I love his attitude. I love how pissed he is about being picked where he was. He's pissed. He said he's pissed at other teams. Same thing with Kamara.
That's
him and Kamara, probably my highest grades. To me, I give it a B+. I'm a B+ at Jalen. Alex, where do you stand on Jalen White?
I'm gonna say A, and I'm gonna give an A to the front office for putting this trade off and getting back into the 4th round and picking him before anybody else did. To me, it's the epitome of what you do good, do even better. Because this gives you so much more options in regards to, and also depth. Because if you lose Mostert for a few games, if you lose a chain, like you have a legit he could be a three down back in the NFL right now. And it's crazy to me. If I'm not mistaken, I said that he reminds me of Terrell Davis. I believe Terrell Davis was 5'10" or like 6 feet and like 215 around there. And when I just see his build, I think of him and I think of a workhorse. And obviously, we're not going to use him that way probably, but I believe, is he a good pass catcher too, or pass protection?
Yes.
He is.
Pass protector, yeah, and pass catcher.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. So you see, that all plays into Mike McDaniel's offense and that West Coast style. So it's really, to me, I cannot that unit. I think the running back room got stronger. I think the wide receiver room got stronger.
Yep.
Everything. I don't think there was a weak point in this draft that I can say like, oh man, what is that? Like, I genuinely feel this draft was made from a comfortable standpoint of a GM and a head coach that know exactly what they want and are going to build the team how they want to build it, obviously with their coordinators in mind with Anthony. So I to me, it's an A on both ends because he just solidified one of your strongest rooms to me.
So, and I see, I like what you said there because you see the plan in place. And again,
Correct.
you look at Kamara, not Kamara, Jalen White, he's going to eventually replace Mostert. Chop Robinson, obviously he come in and take over for Bradley Chubb later on.
Correct.
Patrick Paul takes over for Terron Armstead. I know a lot of people say Kamara that's going to be Bradley Chubb's replacement. I think Kamara was legitimately best player available at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to touch on that with Kamara. Let's get moving on here with Muhammad Kamara. I'm very intrigued.
He's a monster, bro. He's a monster.
Again, well, what's funny is that he's an unfinished product.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's a project, but he's an unfinished product.
Yeah.
He
just needs to be polished.
Chop Robinson lacks on production, Kamara makes up with. But vice versa. Yeah. For sure. Absolutely. Kamara, you see, and then again, you see the plan in place. So we talked about Chop Robinson earlier with missing that production.
And remember a depth piece that we have that they're going to learn under Shaq Barrett.
For sure.
That's another key there that they're going to learn from him.
Let me throw out these numbers from last season.
Okay.
On the defensive line, he played in Colorado.
In Colorado State. Okay.
Let's see here, 56 total tackles, 17 for loss, 13 sacks, 1 pass deflection, 1 forced fumble recovery, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 touchdown. The year before that, 44 total tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. The year before that, he had 6.5 sacks. This guy knows how to get to the quarterback. What's crazy about this is that if you put Chop Robinson's skill set and Patrick and Muhammad Kamara and you molded him into one player, you have a top 5 all-elite player right there. I am so excited about seeing these two guys. I think both of these guys are going to be impact players. When I don't think Kamara was selected to be, and AVG is a great point. But some people on draft day would say, "Oh, this is for Bradley Chubb, who not play and blah 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 blah." No, to me, this was best player available.
Correct.
How is this guy still on the board? This was like Jalen Wright. This was an exciting pick because it's like you are truly going BPA. You're not going after some guy who is a need. I agree with Brett. Like I asked him, he says, "Don't draft for need," even though they needed these guys, but you weren't drafting for need. You were going BPA. Not to be a homer, but still not hating. I give this a solid B. I love this pick. Again, I think the Dolphins, the first round, second round, I'm cool with. Day 3 was solid as hell. Day 2 felt really freaking good at the end of it, especially with Jalen off the board. But day 3 was solid. You got Kamara, Malik. Well, we're waiting on McMorris. He's probably the only if on there for me. And then Washington at the end, Taj Washington. But this right here, Alex, I know you've talked about him already. Wrap it up on Kamara, man. I love it. Solid B. Him and Chop Robinson together with Jalen Phillips. Go for it.
Well, it just puts the icing on the cake to me. it puts a little cherry on top where one of our biggest weaknesses towards the end of the last season now becomes a surplus for us mid-season and as the season goes on and in the future. And to me, like I said, it all comes down to the style of defense that you want to play. And the fact that he was there, he's one of those players that you're like, why is he still on the board? Like, there's no possible way that I can just let him continue to drop. I'm going to take him, and I'm going to use him. And this is one thing to me that I've always, and in all sports, when you have a talented player, like in this sense, a football player, I'm just not going to box him in. You can use him multiple ways, even though he has a defined role. And that's when you have talent like this, you cannot pass it up. Just like with the Chop Robinson in the first round. There's no possible way that I'm going to let him slip because I don't need him, but I want him. And I'm going to use him. And I'm going to develop him. And like you said, he's an unfinished product. I'm going to polish him up. And you have the right coaching staff to do that. And I think dividends for him, like you said, he's going to contribute right away. But we're going to see true dividends 2 or 3 years from now when they are. I'm not going to say all pro. I'm not going to go and start making predictions. But when your defense is consistently performing for the next 3 to 4 years and they're winning your football games, these are the reasons why. And I'll give them the same grade. I'll give them a solid B+.
There you go. All right, next one here. Malik Washington, wide receiver out of Virginia. Another player, and then another Miami. And again, I'm not going to pressure and say, oh, this is a legitimate wide receiver 3.
He tore the Hurricanes up, bro. I saw him. He completely destroyed us.
Yeah. Will brought it up. 305 Sports Now. He talked about it.
Oh, he did? Well,
he did talk about it.
Oh, man.
If I could just pull this up here.
It's true, Scotty. I don't know how the hell he was there in the 6.
I don't get it. And again, I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. Again, I'm not going to put the pressure on him to say, oh, he's our wide receiver 3. Don't think that's fair. I think Miami is still entertaining looking at other options, but I think this gives you solid wide receiver depth.
Oh, even special teams, returns.
Special teams.
Punt return, kick returns.
He fits again, people are like, oh, we need a tall receiver, and I'm not arguing with you. I'd love to see a 6'2", 6'3" receiver, but that is not Chris Greer's.
No, and that's not
MO. Like he wants 5'10", 5'11", under that. This guy is 5'8", I believe. I'm trying to pull up his info while I'm talking. I had it all pulled up. I don't know why everything's missing now, but it's okay.
It's sabotage. It's all Tati's fault.
Tati probably did it.
Yeah.
Punk. But look at this. Last year.
She didn't turn off your internet today, though.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, Josh Kimmel, host of our Once Upon a Sunday, our fantasy football show and wrestling show, he was going to the Tampa Bay Lightning Panthers game where they eventually won the Lightning. And so he came back. He came on with us in the morning or in the later in the round 1 to kind of just touch on the Dolphins, talk about fantasy impact, etc. Of course, we talked a little bit of trash about the Panthers. I mean, and Lightning. All the Panthers say goodnight to the Lightning, get a broom with you, blah, blah, blah. Of course, they won. But he was like, oh, guys, good night, blah, blah. And he ended our stream. He ended the show at an hour or 2 in. He ended our show live. So I had to restart the show or recreate a new episode. But anyway.
Bastard.
So last season, last season in the ACC, and you're right, Will brought it up too. He tore up the ACC, tore up the Miami Hurricanes. 1,426 yards, 110 receptions, 9 touchdowns through the air. So for me, at this point, at this juncture, you needed a receiver. I think you got a very solid receiver. I think someone who's, again, a plug-and-play player who can have some impact on the offense, but probably have more impact on special teams. Alex, I give him a B-. I think this was a solid pick by the Miami Dolphins. 3 straight Bs here. Obviously, I know you like this pick. Talk to me.
Well, I love it. Just the fact of, once again, same situation. Injury bug bites you. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, depth alone. And Scotty mentions here something about Barrios or Craycraft not making it. I still think Eazy-E is going to surprise a lot of people and be that big, that tall receiver, that big body receiver. I do believe there's an outside chance he's finally healthy. So I believe he's going to have that effect. But when they take away the deep ball, you got now you it's even more difficult to cover Tyreek and Jalen because you got possibly Malik working the inside routes 10 yards, 5 yards out. Like you have so much possibilities in regards to, yes, his number one impact will probably be special teams. But if any crazy package McDaniel wants to throw out there, or there's any injury, I have full confidence in the talent in that wide receiver room. And that's another thing that last year we couldn't say because we were looking at Chase Claypool. We were looking at Braxton Berrios, which not a knock on Berrios, but and like I'm saying, I'm still pretty sure that we're not done in regards to negotiating with like OBJ, Tyler Boyd. There's still names out there, but it gives you once again confidence that these rooms are getting deeper and deeper, and the talent is there. I've never been one of those coaches or people that understands like, oh no, you don't want too much talent sometimes because no, as much talent as you can get because iron sharpens iron. You have Washington there. You have both Washingtons there. That's only going to make Waddle better. That's only going to make Hill better. And honestly, vice versa. Washingtons will learn from a Tyreek Hill. Will learn from Jalen Waddle. So I just think it makes your whole team that much better, that much deeper, and that much scarier, honestly. Because once again, speed. It's just about speed, physicality. And you have ballers out there. Like you don't have specialists. You have football players out there. So I'll give it I'll give it a B minus because no, I'll give it a B minus.
I'm with you. I mean, you agree on that, and it's not a hater grade at all. I think it's a solid grade, just based off the potential of what he can
Correct.
do. I think he's going to
Correct.
have, and that doesn't take away from the other Washington. I think Taj Washington is there as well. This is Patrick McMorris, the safety. That's our next pick for the Dolphins. At was it 198? And man, I wanted to see who comes after, but I don't. Who cares anymore? But anyway, Patrick McMorris. We needed a safety. We touched on that. We were talking about it throughout the draft. We talked about it on our draft shows. Even though we got Jordan Poyer, we got Javon Holland, you still needed that third safety. The Dolphins wanted to bring Deshaun Elliott. I'm not saying this guy's going to replace Deshaun Elliott. I'm not going to say he's going to replace Brandon Jones. Miami actually does very well in late round picks and even undrafted free agents, and I'm very excited about seeing some of these undrafted guys. But this was the only one, Alex, where I kind of went, okay.
It is what it is.
We'll see what happens. It is what it is. Not hating on it, not saying he can't be that guy. We don't know. But I didn't come out of it going, oh my God. Good numbers though. I mean, 90 total tackles in his final season, 1 sack, 1 interception, 8 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. He was solid at California. Played for San Diego State before that. This is on Miami scouts at this point. When you look at these late round picks, 6th round, 7th round, undrafted, these are guys that when Chris Greer goes to his scouts and he goes, okay, tell me about these guys. Talk to me about Patrick McMorris. Man, this guy does this, this, and this. This will tell you how good the Dolphins scouting department is based on what this guy can do. I love his numbers. I didn't get to watch a lot of his film, much at all, so I don't want to act like I know much about it. Reading up on him, some people are saying that, I think NFL.com was saying kind of like a back and forth where you get excited and then you kind of scratch your head. We'll see. I'm going to give this a D+ because I can't – it's still a kind of like okay. But again, I'm excited for it because I think, Anthony Weaver, our scouts, I think I trust our scouts. I'm excited to see what they can do with this guy. Your thoughts on Patrick McMorris?
Well, I'll give it a C. I'll see average. I do believe it was an average pick in regards to he seems to be the physical type. Once again, matching our playing style. I don't think he's as fast as other athletes we have on our roster. But like you said, it comes down to polishing. He has great people to learn from. In Poyer, Holland, Anthony Weaver's new style of defense, and just on tackles alone, obviously he seems to be a decent solo tackler. So at the end of the day, like you said, it's a depth piece, and you want to see what they do. And when push comes to shove, you see what he's made of.
And it's like what do you call this? It's a what do you call that when you it's no lose situation, you
Yeah,
know?
it's a
I
win-win.
mean, it's a win, you know,
Yeah,
either, you know,
low risk, high reward.
thank you. Low risk, high reward, because if it doesn't hit, it's a 6th-round pick, you
And
know, it's like okay,
I'm,
whatever.
I'm gonna throw in another name here, Bob. You know, when basically a person here that I treat as a rookie, and I think is gonna be probably the steal, Cam Smith. I want to see what Cam Smith does in this defense.
Hey, again, you know, it's gonna be on him to prove that it was
Yes.
Fangio that held him
Yeah.
back, you know,
Yeah.
especially with Anthony Weaver. We're gonna see, and hopefully that's the case. And I know, you know, I thought about it because Xavier Howard has not been picked up yet. I just want to touch on this real quick. Xavier Howard was not picked up yet, and I thought about it the other day, going, can you know, imagine if he came back to the Miami Dolphins, but he won't have 25.
Nope.
They gave it to Jalen.
Not
so
no more.
That's crazy because
I think
off,
they're done.
I started pulling away from retiring numbers. I don't think I'm not a fan of retiring numbers because you know, I think, you know, honoring the number.
Not in football because there's so many players.
I think honoring the number, you know,
correct.
Correct. You know, hey, number 9, you know, whatever, or 13, this guy, you know, but like retiring it and then totally taking it away. I think it should be like the Cowboys. I don't know if the Cowboys retired any jerseys, but I know that they like to hand like, oh, you have number 9 now or you have 22 or 21, whatever.
The Cowboys have the tradition with the best wide receiver. He always gets 88.
That's what it was. I like that. That. I think that's really cool.
But they have retired. I think no one who's worn 12 or number 8 or number 22.
Really? Okay. I think that's the way it should be. And let me just say, I know we're talking, you know, Weaver has a lot to work with, still needs a couple. Yeah, 100%. And again, people have to realize these are young guys. I don't expect them to, you know, but I expect plug and play. I don't expect major impact right away.
Correct.
You know, I know, you know, Steve Malloy thinks it's a reach for 10 wins. I've seen some people say that, and everyone's to their prerogative. Again,
a reach for 10 wins?
Yeah, I think it's a minimum. I think at minimum 10 wins.
10 or 11 at the minimum.
No, I think minimum is fair. I think 10 wins. They won 10 wins last year. You know, again, I don't think that. This team lost talent, but I think again, it could still, it's still talented enough to get at least 10 wins.
Absolutely.
You know, and so, but again, you got to, you know, rookies are rookies for a reason. And then last but not least, Taj Washington out of Southern Cal. His quarterback was Caleb Williams. USC, Pac-12. Man, let me tell you, that's your final pick, and what a final pick. I gotta say,
he's gonna surprise a lot of people.
You know, again, I think we need to be respectful to the fact that he's a 7th rounder. Mm-hmm. You know, we got to remember that he's a 7th rounder. I look forward to seeing what he does in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
However, again, 1,062 yards, 8 touchdowns. I think he's going to be a contributor on special teams. You know, I understand he you know, Craig Kraft, Barrios, Easy. He has good veterans he has to go against, but I'm very intrigued by Taj and Malik together. Again, speed, and plug and play. When I think of this roster, if I think of this draft class, he is a plug. Most of these players are plug and play, speed guys.
Yep.
You know, these are guys that they could start for you or they come and rotate in for you. If he was the number 1 target,
you could tell. He made Caleb a little bit easier.
That's what I'm saying. Wait a second. If he is the number 1 target of the number 1 quarterback in this draft class, think about the potential he could have with a quarterback like Tua 4 or 5 years in, on top of his game, especially the first 8 or 10 games of the season. We need it full 17. That's another day. Man, so I give this. I was between a C+ and a C. I'm giving this a C+. I think this was a good pick by Miami late in the draft. I love that it wasn't some rando, you know. I mean,
some random guy you're gonna cut. Like,
yeah, like you know, like team. Yeah, you're like, oh, this guy's not going to make the roster.
Yeah.
I could probably say I could feel that it could go either way with Taj Washington. I think this guy could make the roster. We'll see what he does in preseason and camp.
Yeah.
I give it a C plus, Alex.
I'll give it a B, because the fact that he was Caleb's number one target, and he bailed out Caleb at times of certain situations. If you see the highlight, if you see his highlights, there was certain jump balls per se that Taj just went up and got balls. So honestly, to me, it's insane. I don't think we've ever had a draft that every player has made the team. I might be wrong, but I believe there's a legit chance that every player drafted might make the team.
Wow. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Sorry, Tati just sent me something. I will talk on it right now.
Okay.
Some sports related.
Okay.
No, I agree with you. I think this is the first draft.
Yeah, man.
That I believe that everyone has a route to make the team.
Yeah.
That even Patrick McMorris, as the questions around there, you think about what we need at safety, defensive back, even he could find his way on the squad, the final 53. Between Malik and Taj, I could see both of them or either one of them making that final 53. There's no question on Kamara, White, or and the other two guys, Paul and Robinson.
And what I love is the fact that when McDaniel, people were talking all shit, that McDaniel has finally a first-round pick to use, and they picked a defensive player. That to me shows I love it. I love it. Like,
Evan reminded me way before the draft, and he has said, and people need to realize he's an offensive guy, but you got to remember he's a head coach, and he has said if he could use his first-round pick on defensive lines and edge rushers every year, he'd do it.
Yeah.
He told you, and if you were surprised that he went that route, you weren't paying attention.
You weren't paying attention. He told you what he was going to do.
The same thing with the offensive line. When Chris Greer said you guys are more worried about it than we are, if you were surprised it didn't go offensive line, you were not paying attention. But either way, finally, I would say overall, I give this class, and again, you got to wait a few years. I'm just saying initial reaction, raw reaction. I give it a solid B. I think it was a solid draft. I came out of this draft the first time, again, Alex, like I said, the first time I've come into a draft or out of a draft saying, not talking myself into it, going, oh, I see the vision. I see the writing on the wall. I see the identity. I see the potential. I'm happy with this draft. What's your final grade?
I'm going to say the same thing. I believe it's a B from front office to the players that we drafted. It was a great feeling throughout. Not once did I feel we reached for anything, and I genuinely believe that we went with everybody that was on top of our board, of our draft board, every single pick we made. So I'm super happy. Now, obviously, it just translates into the coaching, the play on the field, and the development. And then we just got to wait it out. That's it.
100%. So there you go. That was our draft grades, guys. Please tell us what you think. What's your final grade on the Dolphins draft? Again, it doesn't matter what it is. Everyone has a right to an opinion, whatever you think it may be. Let us know. The news that Tati sent me, I don't know if you were familiar with this fight, Alex, boxing match the other night. We watched it.
He tested positive.
Ryan Garcia. First off, it was an entertaining match as hell. It pissed me off with the referee and so forth. But what a doofus. Yeah, Ryan Garcia failed his doping test the day before and the day of his upset win over Devin Haney, per a voluntary anti-doping association letter obtained by Mike Coppinger. This is from ESPN. The banned substance is Astarine. Ryan Garcia has 10 days to request his B sample be tested. So he came in overweight and he violated, Yeah, so that's an interesting. I mean, come on, dude. Like, what the hell? Probably your biggest win of your career. Yeah. Definitely got a lot of people excited.
And there's no excuses. There's no excuses. Really.
I would use the app, Alex. That's how I watched it. I was like, oh shoot, and I was like, I put it on, and I finally found it. I had to go like to 20 Dazans. Finally found it.
You found it. You see?
I found it. Yeah, I was like, oh, I love this fucking thing. We had a blast. I want to watch that Canelo versus.
Yeah. When is it? Is this next week?
May 4th, I think, or May 6th. May 4th. I think it's
Is this Saturday?
Yeah, May 4th.
Okay.
Canelo. So I'm gonna have to find that, log in.
No, not substance abuse, Frederick. Well, I don't know if he has or not, but it was a ban. It's like it acts as I believe it's really a steroid or no? Or is
No,
it performance enhancement?
not substance abuse.
No, that's not
It's
substance.
like I think it's like a performance enhancing type of thing that they found in
honestly,
his system.
there's no excuse in regards to these things because they know what's illegal and they know what supplements contain what. So it's just it could be an oversight or it was done deliberately. Now, obviously, he's gonna go into it was a mistake or I didn't do that. That's wrong. Blah blah.
So
blah.
they can overturn a win, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're found, that's it. It's overturned.
That
he's
fight
still
got
undefeated.
Tristan into boxing. Tristan now I downloaded because I told you about Game Pass. They have or I think it was Game Pass that has it, but either way, I had it already in my was an old Fight Night game that was from Xbox 360 that's on my Xbox now.
Holy shit.
He was like, "Is Uncle Harrison on here?" He's like, "I'm gonna try to find." I said, "No, he's not on here." I was like, He's like, "Why?"
if he's on there, it's very low. I love it, bro. So did he call by any chance today or no?
No, he hasn't. Actually, I'm surprised he hasn't called me today. He usually calls me for Fortnite. Yeah. That's what he calls me for.
He usually always calls you Wednesday at 9:30 p.m.
He does. Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching a Canelo fight. I saw him and De La Hoya talking trash to each other. I thought that was fun.
Oh yeah.
And next month is a big heavyweight fight. Who's the Tyson Fury? I like Tyson Fury, man.
Tyson Fury's fighting again?
He is. I forgot who he's fighting, but he has a heavyweight title fight, I think.
I watch his show. He's funny, man. I watch his show on Netflix.
Oh, he's legit, dude.
I love him. He's true to himself, man.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. And Jake Paul versus Mike
Tyson. That is. Oh, by the way, now you've mentioned, are you gonna see the Tom Brady roast live?
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
I can't wait for that one. I think it's May. Oh, it's May 5th. Is it May 5th? No.
No. May the 5th, May the 4th be with you. Is that what's Star Wars is May 4th? The day. Okay. I think it's May 5th.
May
I don't
5th,
think they put it on 4th.
Yeah, because May 5th is Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. You celebrate your ancestors' birthdays and stuff.
Birthdays. You uncultured fuck, man. It's more like your ancestors were from over there.
Oh man.
No, and it's not Mexico's independence. It's not. It's
somebody
just
say that?
No, people always think that May 5th is Mexico independence. It's not. It's a grito de Puebla. It's a.
Day of the Dead.
No. It's oh my God. It's like a.
Remember
there's a connotation.
Movie. No,
yeah.
They made a movie, Coco. It's the Day of the Dead.
But the May 5th is the Grito de Puebla, I think it's called. It's like a war, Battle of Puebla. You see?
Who said that? I don't see the comments right now. I'm looking away.
Oh, you're not okay. Tati was helping me out.
I was waiting for it. I knew Tati was going to come.
Yeah, I told you. It's not the
What are you talking about? They go to visit their ancestors. They go to the cemetery. It's in the movie. That's Cinco de Mayo. What you talking about?
And they eat tacos.
You said it, not me. You said it, not me. I was going to say it, Alex. You said it before me. I can't get in trouble for it. I was going to say they go to the cemetery, visit their ancestors, get the burritos, say, remember me. It's a whole nice movie. Beautiful story. Coco. Tati. That's it. No, I'm telling you, it's not in November. What? Anyway,
Bobby's gonna have a taco just with beef and cheese for May 5th.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Taco Bell. Pick myself up. May the 4th. But no, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. I said Patrick Paul, but Jake Paul. Harrison says he thinks Jake Paul is a knockout Tyson. I say you're crazy, dude.
Knockout Tyson?
I think that's nuts. I think Tyson's gonna take that serious. I think Tyson's gonna come
Don't get me wrong.
I'm not gonna say Jake Paul. I'm not disrespecting Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul and his brother are both. But
Tyson is.
He doesn't think Tyson is top 10. He doesn't, or top 5. I think he said one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. He has an argument that he's not.
Pound for pound, Tyson not one of the best.
Yeah. I gotta get. I couldn't get into it with him because I was really not there to really talk about it. But I'm like, that's crazy. Mike Tyson was.
This
But
is something that you could ask your dad, because your dad's probably more in tune with this. But
my dad, yeah, for sure.
name me 4 fighters better than Mike Tyson, pound for pound.
We should do that. We'd probably get Steve Malloy, my father, in here. Steve Malloy is a boxer.
It's on now.
He's dead ass serious. He ain't playing no more.
No more, bro. No more.
But anyway, my goodness, this was a fun show. It really was. I mean, we're talking about the Heat. Sucks. We're gonna get into a more Heat-centric episode later on. Really dive deep and talk about how the Heat could improve, and that might break some people's hearts.
Get ready for Pat Riley's press conference. That's
gonna tell us all. That will let us know where the hell they're going, or what direction. Because he's very. It's easy with Chris Greer. It's a bunch of non-truths. You know, you got to kind of stick through the leads. Where Pat Riley, he kind of wears it on his sleeve where he might be. And somebody's saying that he would not welcome LeBron James back. I don't believe that one.
That's bullshit.
He has
Tim Hardaway said that.
Was it Senior said it? Senior, right?
Yeah, Tim Hardaway Senior.
He has said the key is under the mat.
Of course.
He said it before. You don't think he would take back a LeBron James if he could?
You don't think LeBron James would love to play for Spo right now?
Hell
with
yeah,
his team right now? For sure.
Of course he would.
For sure.
Man, we'll see. It's going to be an exciting time. But Alex, any final thoughts, man?
No, brother. It was just great doing this. I know. Once again, I wish I could have been in the draft special. Congratulate you for how successful it was, how amazing the content is, and like you mentioned, I know Heat Nation, our season's officially over. Now you look forward to the summer. There's many routes that this can go. 3 routes, honestly. So we got to see where we go from here. And Dolphins, we're excited. Marlins won a series. Dolphins are revving up OTAs. So the season is almost around the corner. You start getting that itch already. The Panthers, I believe the Panthers can go all the way. So it's a fun time in Miami. It really is. So
it is a great time to be a Miami fan.
Oh yeah, amazing.
It is
just expensive.
That's right.
No just doubt. Really expensive, man.
It is. Yeah, I know. Good.
Help.
For you. Help us. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great night. Please, if you're watching the show after, if you're watching it off Twitter, Facebook, anything other than YouTube, hop on over, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new. But if you're watching the show afterwards or you're watching the show now, put in the comments your grade on the Dolphins draft class. And what you think the Heat should do. Should they move Hero? What do you think? I saw Fedric give it a B. Scotty gave it a B. Everyone else, please let us know what you think. Other than that, we appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Dolphin fans, fins up. Heat. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Enjoy Cancun.
Bastards.
Bastards.